Happy Fitness Friday!
Good morning, everybody. Happy Fitness Friday. As everyone's coming in, we are just excited to preview what we're going to talk about today, which is fasted cardio, to eat or not to eat
Before exercise. We're
Yes.
going to have you weigh in on this as well.
Yes, absolutely. We are excited, as always, to be here.
Yes, we are.
Shall we tell them who we are?
We would. Yes, I would love to. Good morning.
Hi.
I am Dr. Ayla Donlin,
And I'm Emily Sopo.
and we are your Myzone Master Trainers. I hold my doctoral degree in educational leadership. Emily and I both hold degrees in kinesiology, our master's degrees. Emily in exercise science. Hi, Nicole.
Hey, Nicole.
And myself in sport and exercise psychology. We're both certified personal trainers and group fitness instructors. We love using Myzone for our own personal workouts. We both just got done with a workout this morning, and we use Myzone with all of our clients. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about a new program that I'm running at the facility that we run using Myzone, kind of toward the end of the broadcast.
Oh, okay, good. And good morning, Kimberly. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, and if you want to know more about Myzone, everybody, you can always check out myzone.org, where we have a blog that we contribute to, so you can learn more about how to use Myzone in your training and all sorts of other topics like today's topic.
Yes.
You can also go to YouTube and check out all previous Fitness Friday broadcasts, as well as Myzone's Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, all over the place.
All over the place. We also have a podcast called the Myzone Moose Podcast that you can find on iTunes and Google Play, so make sure you check that out as well. If you'd like to follow along, the blog that we are reviewing this morning, or today, for those of you who are not in the morning time zone. Hey, Dennis!
Hey.
The blog is available on the myzone.org page, exactly where Emily said that it was. So if you want to follow along, please do.
Yes, absolutely.
Shall we get into the content?
Let's get right in.
Okay, as we're reviewing the content today, what we want to hear from you are the following. 1, do you typically eat before you exercise, and why or why not? And 2, did you work out today? And if so, what did you consume before you worked out? Or did you not consume anything before you worked out?
Yeah, can we add one more thing to that?
Go for it. And
if you want to share it out, then you can always post all that information and then write someone's name in the comment section below so that they can contribute as well.
Yeah, so if you know that this would be a hot topic for a buddy or a client, yes, please share it out, tag them in this so that they can tune in. Okay, fasted cardio. One of the most common questions that we get that's nutrition and exercise related is, should I eat before I exercise? Or maybe even more specifically, should I perform fasted cardio? That seems to be kind of a trendy, hot topic and has been for a while.
Yep.
As with most exercise and nutrition related questions, the answer to that is going to depend on many factors. You've heard us say that multiple times before. So what we're going to do this morning is we're going to unpack some of the pros and cons of performing fasted exercise, specifically fasted cardio, and then you can decide for yourself, are you a pre-fuel exerciser or a post-fuel exerciser? If you perform a Google search and you type in fasted cardio, in fact, if you want to do that right now, go for it. You are going to see that the results are going to pop up with all kinds of conflicting messages. Some titles are going to tell you that fasted cardio is the best thing that you can do for burning fat. Other titles are going to tell you that fasted cardio, all of the benefits are a myth, that there's no benefits to it. So what do we believe, and should we eat before we work out or not? So before we get into unpacking some of the research around this topic and some of the expert opinion around this topic, let's get on the same page with a few definitions or concepts. Did you want to reply to Kimberly first?
Kimberly shared it. I love it. I worked out, did not eat because it makes you feel a little nauseous, but you do have BCAAs during workout.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we want to hear. We want to know why you do or do not eat before you exercise and what you consume if you do.
Yeah.
Okay, so some definitions before we get into the research and the expert opinion. Fasted cardio refers to cardiorespiratory exercise. And remember, cardiorespiratory exercise examples include running, walking, elliptical, rowing, treadmill, what else? Dancing, swimming, any of it. That's cardiorespiratory exercise, where you're working your heart, your lungs, and your vascular system. So fasted cardio is performing cardiorespiratory exercise in a fasted state. Now, what is a fasted state? One in which you've completely digested and absorbed your last meal or snack, and your insulin levels have returned to baseline or a lower level. So in general, that's going to be at least like 3 to 4 hours after a meal or a snack. But in the research, if you're looking through research studies, you'll find that most of the time fasted exercise is performed when before the participants have consumed any food that day, and typically it's before the first meal of the day, so the participants haven't eaten for 8 to 12 hours. So in research, that's typically when you see fasted cardio, that's what it's referring to. But you can look at that in the research design. You may also see the terms pre and post-prandial in the research literature. Prandial refers to the consumption of food. So if exercise is performed pre-prandial, that means exercise is performed before the consumption of food. And if exercise is performed post-prandial, that means that exercise is performed after the consumption of food.
Yes, absolutely. A couple more definitions that we want to just get out there right now are fat lipolysis and fat oxidation. So fat lipolysis is the breakdown of a triglyceride. You may have heard that term before. A triglyceride is a glycerol as well as 3 fatty acids that are stored inside fat cells. So it is literally the breakdown of that molecule. Once it leaves and is broken down from the fat cell, it can enter the bloodstream and travel to tissues to be utilized in fat oxidation, which is the next definition I wanted to share with you. Hey, Michelle. Fat oxidation occurs when fatty acids are utilized to produce energy inside the mitochondria of a cell. We've talked about this in previous broadcasts, like way back when, I think over a year ago, but it is on the YouTube channel as well for Myzone Moves. So in short, fat lipolysis is the breakdown and mobilization of fat into the bloodstream, and then fat oxidation is the burning of fat as fuel. And so some research suggests that if you perform fasted cardio, it can help to increase the rate of fat lipolysis and oxidation.
Yeah, the breakdown of fat and the burning of fat.
Yes. A couple other definitions that we have for you, actually just one right now that I'll give to you now, is the energy substrate and the energy substrate ratios. So energy substrates, it's really just referring to where the energy comes from, whether it's fat, carbohydrates, or protein, right? And you use these different substrates in different ratios depending on the type of exercise you're performing. So you've probably heard us tell you before on Fitness Fridays that when you're performing light intensity exercise, or even when you're just resting, like Ayla and I are just stating here now, we'd be burning a higher proportion of fat as our primary substrate versus when you're on an airplane. Right. That's resting. Versus when you're performing high intensity exercise, when you would be burning a higher proportion of carbohydrate as your primary energy substrate.
Exactly. And now that can be a little bit deceiving because it seems to suggest that we should work out at low or moderate intensity zones to be burning more fat. And you've probably even heard that, your fat burning zone.
Right.
However, what we know from research about weight loss and fat loss is that the substrate that we're burning during our workout is only a small part of the equation. That in the end, what it comes down to is the overall number of calories that you're burning during your workout, and we're more likely to burn more calories when we're doing higher intensity exercise. And there's a bonus. We're more likely to continue to burn calories at a higher rate following a high intensity workout than a low to moderate intensity steady state workout. And that is a concept called excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, or EPOC. We've broken that down multiple times on Fitness Fridays. Emily wrote a beautiful blog about it on the myzone.org website, so you can check out that and if you want more information about EPOC. So I guess the long story short is the actual substrate that you're burning during your workout is only a small part of it. It really comes down to total caloric expenditure. And if we have a higher intensity workout, even though we're burning more carbohydrate perhaps during the workout, we're going to continue to burn calories at a higher rate afterwards. And a lot of those calories are going to come from the substrate of fat as we continue to burn after.
Yes, and that whole idea plays into this next definition that I want to give you, which is energy balance. You've probably heard this term before or something like it, but you've definitely heard at least the concept. So energy balance is an equation. It's energy in versus energy out, right? And so that, we've got a little kiddo over here who just spilled his lunch pail.
He will be doing fasted cardio because he won't have a choice.
Yeah. So it's really looking at the number of calories that you consume and then the number of calories that you expend. So we consume energy or calories through our food, right? And we expend calories in a variety of ways. One is purposeful activity, one is activities of daily living, one is even the thermic effect of food, which refers to how much energy is required just to digest your food, because you are burning calories as you go through that digestion process. So if you are in a positive energy balance, you are putting in more than you're expending. You're taking in more calories than you are expending. And theoretically, then you would gain weight, right? On the flip side of that, a negative energy balance would be when you are expending more calories than you're taking in, and theoretically you would lose weight. And then you can also be in something called neutral energy balance, where it's equivalent. Energy in equals energy out. You're not burning more or eating more than the other.
Right. Yeah.
So what really comes down to, though, is energy balance over one day probably doesn't make a whole lot of a difference, right? It's the consistency and looking at the day, the week, the month, the year of what our overall energy balance is, as well as other factors, because it's not just as simple as an equation, right? There's sleep that plays in. We've talked about stress. We've talked about overtraining. We've talked about genetics a little bit. It all ties in.
Yeah, hormonal balance. So if it was just as easy as like creating that beautiful equation of calories in, calories out equals I'm going to lose X number of pounds in X number of days, then we probably would have much more rapid, quickly, and sustainable weight loss. But because of all these other factors, we have to consider more.
Yes, that's part of why we're here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to the research, yes? And the expert opinion about fasted cardio. Here it is, folks. Drum roll, please. As you would expect, opinions about fasted cardio are mixed among researchers, fitness professionals, and general exercisers. You're going to read studies and articles on both sides of the argument in terms of pro or con fasted cardio. Some studies and articles claim that you're going to burn more fat during exercise if you're in a fasted state, like we mentioned before, due to increased fat lipolysis and fat oxidation, so the mobilization and burning of fat. However, as we've mentioned, that's only one small part of the equation. Other studies show that you're going to burn more fat and more overall calories 12 and 24 hours after an exercise session if you're in a fed state during the exercise session. So that's an interesting thing to consider. There may be fat burning advantages to fasted cardio. However, in the end, it may come down to energy balance for weight loss and fat loss. So there's other studies that have shown that appetite increases to a greater extent following exercise performed in a fasted state rather than a fed state. And why that might be important is that could lead to eating more calories later on in the day and lead to a positive energy balance even though you began the day in a negative energy balance. So that's just something to be mindful of, because then you're defeating the purpose of doing fasted cardio if you're bumping your appetite to such an extent that you're going to be over consuming later on in the day.
Yeah, and I think part of this comes down to individuality, right?
Exactly.
So Ayla might work really well in a fasted state during her cardio. I might not, and we might both lose fat, or we might both not lose fat. So it's really important just to keep in mind that research does differ and really depend on people.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many individual factors. I know, Kimberly, we know it's frustrating because there's not one definitive answer, but you're going to find that that is so much the case with exercise and nutrition related questions. But that's what makes it so fun too, is you get to do your own experimentation. Speaking of which, one of the best ways to decide where you stand on the fasted cardio argument is to give it a try yourself. So if you're going to perform fasted cardio, then you can probably perform low to moderate intensity cardio for up to an hour, or high intensity interval training, HIIT training for shorter durations, maybe 30 to up to 45 minutes, before your muscle glycogen stores, your energy starts to run low. So as mentioned previously, there may be some advantages to performing HIIT training over lower moderate steady state training because of those afterburn effects that we had talked about earlier. So the other part of that is your body might not tolerate high intensity exercise very well if you are in a fasted state. So you just got to give it a try and see how your body responds.
Yeah, pack an apple or something. you know, just in case.
Exactly.
In case it doesn't work out so well. Yeah.
Yep.
And we'd certainly recommend that you utilize the Myzone app after your workouts to not only name your workout, and you can even put in like this was fasted, this was not, but also to rate your workout and see how your body felt and really record that, because then you can go back and look and go, oh yeah, that this trend of me not eating isn't so good for me, or vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why that's one of the things that we love about Myzone is that you can track those kinds of things. How valuable is that? So that relates to Trish, thank you for weighing in. That relates to what you're saying, is that opinions on everything are mixed, and that's why we have to give it a go for ourselves and see how our bodies respond. And a way that we can then quantify that or make that objective as opposed to just subjective is to track it, like Emily was just suggesting, in our Myzone calendar. That way you can know how your body's responding over time, and you can make educated decisions about your exercise routine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. I think that covers the info. Thanks so much for weighing in, you guys, and continue to do so. If you've got comments or questions, keep them coming, because we'll go back onto the Myzone Facebook page and we'll respond. And if you're watching on YouTube, then you can still leave comments or questions there, or you can pop over to the Myzone Facebook page and hit us up there.
Yes, and we would love for you guys to share this one out with your Facebook friends. You can do so by sharing the entire video, or if you don't want to share the whole thing, what you can do is just tag someone in the comment section below so that everybody can learn more about fasted cardio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I take a moment to tell them about the new program that I'm running?
Yes.
If you are a personal trainer or a program director at a facility, or even if you are just a general exerciser and you attend a fitness facility, I've got a suggestion for you. We started a program at the facility that I run called the Surfer Program, and it's an acronym: Cardio, Resistance Training, Flexibility, and Relaxation, CRFR, hence the Surfer. And we do a little bit of everything. It's a pretty holistic program. And as a part of that program, we incorporated the Myzone belt with it. So all of the participants purchased the Myzone belt, and we're tracking all of their exercise, their cardio, resistance training, flexibility, and relaxation using the Myzone belt. So if you want more information, you can actually contact me at ayla.donlin@myzone.org. We're going to put we just got new myzone.org email addresses. So you can contact me at Ayla, AYLA.Donlin, DONLIN, @myzone.org. And if you want to know more about the Surfer program, I'm happy to tell you, but it's done really well for our facility, so it's a great way to incorporate the Myzone system into programming.
Yeah, and can we mention that you give homework, and it's to watch Fitness Friday videos.
It is.
Which is cool.
It is. And read blogs.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, we will see you next week.
Yes,
and
keep moving forward.
Bye.
Have a great weekend, everybody.